Hello family, I am Apio Bongo and I am so happy to have you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome to my very warm and loving family. So if you are a new subscriber, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate you subscribing to the channel. And please don't forget to hit the notification bell so that every time I upload, you are notified. If you are a returning subscriber, if you have been here since day one, welcome, welcome, welcome. A massive warm welcome to you. I really do appreciate your support, guys, and the love that you guys are showing me is so overwhelming in a very good way. Thank you so much. And then if you are not here for the first time, this is not the first time you're here for the second time, you're here for the third time, but for some reason you are not subscribed, please do the right thing. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you are notified every time I do upload. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. We are on over 200 subscribers now, and I cannot tell you how happy that makes me feel. Like, thank you. It is so motivating, man, just to see, you know, like people responding to what you put out there. So it really is motivating. I definitely am very grateful for each and every one of you, right? So I just want to quickly cover what to expect on this channel before I move right into what this video is about. We didn't cover it when we're doing our Get to Know Me, and so I think like it's very important for you guys to know what to expect in this channel. So basically what will be covered here is personal experiences, right? Personal experiences meaning like the way I grew up, things that I went through, how I got through them, and also what lessons I drew from all of that, and what I can tell someone that's going through the same thing, basically, right? And then another thing that I'll be sharing is things on faith, man. You know, like my journey again on faith, my experiences on faith. I am born again, if you didn't know. I'm a born again child of God, and I just want to speak with you about my experiences with being young and born again, because I got born again at 16. So I was a teenager when I received Christ, and then like there's a lot of things that have happened from 16 up until 27, and I really do want to share that, so that if there is anyone that may be struggling with what I did struggle with, then they can use some of the things that helped me to, I don't know, like continue being born again, continue journeying with God, and just understanding His love and mercy the way I understood it, right? So that's the second thing that you can expect. And I also, basically, in a nutshell, what I'll be covering are topics that I think are not spoken about a lot, or if they are spoken about, it's usually like by people that have not really gone through them, you know. Like most, you know, at church, like we preach, and sometimes what we preach we haven't experienced. So what I will be covering on faith here mostly will be things that I have gone through. Child, you don't want to miss that. And yeah, so like this is also a part of getting to know me, because like I feel like you guys will be getting to know me like throughout my YouTube journey, actually, because there's no point where you'll be like, okay, you know everything, right? So yeah, that is what is basically going to be covered here. And I also want to later collaborate with people that have remarkable stories. I have collided with like people that have been through so much, but I'm still trust God, still love God, and are still rooted in their faith. And I think I call those stories remarkable because like it's one thing going through difficulty, but then it's another thing coming out of the difficulty still intact, with your faith still intact. I'm still proclaiming God as the sovereign God and the master over your life. Yabo. So we'll be definitely doing collaborations. And another thing that I also really would like to do is to host like more than one person, you know, like where we have conversations based on maybe questions that you will have received, or just topics that are hot, you know, like that need dissecting, you know. So yeah. Like I said then, that you guys are still getting to know me, and I thought that this would be like the perfect series to start with. Okay, yeah, guys, I'm going to be doing series. I'm going to be doing series. I don't know, just to structure, like what is in my head, because like I can ramble and speak about a lot of things, but I felt like if I divide it into like bits and pieces, then it will make more sense and it will be easier to receive than to just bombard you guys with everything at once. So yeah. And this first series is inspired by one of the things that I shared on my Get to Know Me videos. I did share that I was suicidal at 16, and that received quite quite a reaction. Like I had people DMing me, like, this is honest, guys, honest, like I'm not making this up, because like people are like, DM me, whatever. Okay, yeah, so people were DMing me, like some were shocked that I was even suicidal at some point. And someone said to me that they literally cried when they heard that I had gone through that. And so I thought it would be a beautiful place to start at. So yeah, I'm going to be doing the childhood, trauma, and adulthood series. Okay, and the first one, like today, is the introduction. Yeah, so I was trying to think about, why would someone be shocked that I was suicidal at 16? And like I answered myself to say that it's unfair for me to think that people won't be shocked, because I've always come across as the strong young woman, like even from a young age, Like I was always that person that gives advice. But if someone is going through something, I'll give them advice. I'll motivate them. I'll encourage them. But be strong. Don't. So I was always that person. And I think I did a good job convincing people that I was okay. Like that I had everything under control and everything was good. When in actual fact, things were really like hectic. I remember because when I was going through the most, I was in boarding school. I did my grade 7 to grade 9 at a school in Libote, Eqolo, St. Patrick's, So everyone that I went to school with, and I mean everyone that I went to school with, that I went to St. Patrick's with, will tell you that I was a bubbly child. I was like a loud child. I was happy, but guys, let me tell you, like those years were the most hectic years of my life, and no one knew about it. Yeah, because like I said, baby girl is strong, bubbly, loud, jokey, and all of that. So then the reason why I was suicidal was basically around the fact that I had been exposed to like emotional and verbal abuse, and I think like when I think about it now that I'm grown, that is where I can trace and say that is the trauma that I went through as a child. That is where most of the things altered, like my perception on life, the way I turned out to be, and basically my mindset, like it was like that time was a time where I can pinpoint and say this is where Apiwe was shaped, and you can imagine, most and when you're 16 you're a teenager, and then at 16 it's not when necessarily the emotional abuse and the verbal abuse was happening. It had been a build up, and at 16 I had had enough. At 16 I was on the brink of ready to die. I was just like, I'm tired of this, and I think my biggest struggle started when I turned 13, which is the age where everything like started just like getting bad and getting like really hectic for me. So imagine this, guys. It is childhood traumas, because Okay, let me first explain the concept childhood trauma so that you guys can get it. So a childhood trauma is anything, like is any experience or an event or a situation or environment that is experienced by a child, you know, and that is emotionally painful or distressful. So that is basically what childhood trauma is, you know, any event, any situation, any environment that is experienced by a child that is painful and, you know, distressful. And for me, emotional and verbal abuse were those events. You know, it was that environment, it was that situation that caused so much pain and caused so much distress, right? And you can imagine at 13, you are starting your teenage stage, Mos, yeah, and in like in essence, that is where you are shaped. That is where you are supposed to be heard. That is where you're supposed to be held with love. That is where you're supposed to be guided. You're supposed to be embraced, and all of those beautiful things that teenagers should be given, you know. So you can just imagine receiving that, like receiving the total opposite of what you require at that stage. You can imagine the damage that that causes, because it's not to be cute when you say that no, teenagers need love, teenagers need to be heard, teenagers need to be affirmed, teenagers need this and that, you know. It is literally a stage where a child gets shaped for life. It is where a child gets to be taught values and principles that are going to like get them ready for the life that is ahead of them. And so if there is an absence of that, obviously havoc is inevitable, you know. Chaos is inevitably going to erupt, and unfortunately the mess and the chaos and the havoc will present itself later in life as an adult, you know. Hence then childhood trauma and adulthood, because as much as we now want to be strong adults, we want to be passionate adults, we want to be goal-driven, successful and all of that, we can never run away from the fact that the things that happened when we were kids are going to inform the type of adults that you are going to be. And society will expect you to be an excellent adult when they didn't care about the type of childhood that you received, the type of childhood that you had. Yeah, and if you are not smart about it, let me not say smart, if you have not gotten into a place where the grace of God locates you to a place where He says that let us look at this from the root. Like, you are presenting with this problem, you are presenting with this personality trait, but where is the root of it? What happened? Why are you an overthinker? Why are you a defensive person? Why is your self-esteem low? Like, why do you have self-pity? Why? And when He starts to address those things, obviously you're going to go through the most, you're going to cry and scream and whatever. But after that, like, the beauty of allowing yourself to be vulnerable in the hands of God and allowing the process of healing, which is never linear, to take place, is that at the end of it all, you can be able to look at your situation and before God helped you and after He has helped you, and then you can see the differences like night and day. Yeah, so that is what I want to be sharing in the series, touching on the things that came in my life as a result of the trauma, the things that I've had to overcome along the way. And yeah, I hope that you guys will be able to, you know, like, give feedback. Maybe if you do have something that you want to be addressed, okay, maybe that will be at the end of the series, because, okay, you guys can give suggestions, because I do have quite a few things that I want to cover in this series concerning childhood and adulthood. So yeah, that is what the series is going to be about. Please stay tuned for that. I'm just trying to see if there's nothing that I left out. Yes. Okay, so just a scripture, because, you know, why not? just a scripture to summarize everything and to set a tone, I guess, for the whole series. There is a scripture in Philippians. The chapter is 1 verse 12. It reads as follows. This is Paul writing, and he says, I want to report to you, friends, that my imprisonment here has had the opposite of its intended effect. And if that scripture doesn't summarize exactly what happened to me, then I don't know what scripture will. Because where he's writing, he is in prison, and he was arrested for preaching. And now he writes this letter, and I think he's excited to say that, okay, my imprisonment here has had the opposite of its intended effect. And I think that is what happened to me. You know, like sometimes we go through things, ne? And the devil is sure that by giving you the stumbling block, by throwing this trial and tribulation over to you, he's going to finish with you. But, you know, like receiving Christ, having received Christ at 16, and like looking back now as a 27-year-old, I can surely say that the pain, the abuse, and everything that I went through that ultimately made me want to take my life has had the opposite of its intended effect. Like if the devil's intent was to harm me, to kill me, to take life away from me, to draw me away from God, and every plan that he had, like all of that has had the opposite of its intended effect. Because I'm here now, obviously sharing with you. I'm not dead, I'm alive, I'm looking forward to life, you know, and I'm excited for the future. And like mostly I am content in my heart, and I thank God, not for the pain, because hi guys, like I could have done without the pain. Okay, whatever. Like not for the pain, because I come to funny pain betunana. But I thank God for my journey, because my journey is my journey, my story is my story, and my story is what makes me me, you know. Like if I had not gone through those things, it would have been different. Then it wouldn't be this appear that you guys see. Yeah, so yeah, that is what you guys must look out for in the series Childhood Trauma and Adulthood. Sibadala guys, we are grown, you. I said we are grown. I hate that so much, but anyway, we are grown now. We are born like we're supposed to be, like these adults that have it together. These adults that are sure about what they're doing. We don't even have space for mistakes getting like with us. We're very hard on ourselves and all of that. But I want us to slow down and say that maybe you turned out the way you turned out because there are things that you may be scared to address in the past, you know. There are things that when they come to a remembrance, you just like, you shove them, you're like, no, I'm not ready to process that, I'm not ready to go through that. But Alpha, we're going to speak about them. And I'm praying and hoping that whoever God facilitated the series in mind with, I pray that those people get the answers they're looking for. I pray that those people, you know, like God reaches out to them and holds their hand through their healing process. If there are things that you have shut, you have like put at the back of your mind, closed the doors but haven't dealt with them, because it's one thing locking things up and it's one thing dealing with them and then accepting them, acknowledging them and moving forward. Things that are locked up have a way of creeping, you know, back into the surface, and it's never cute when that happens. So yeah, I want us to talk about those things. Do leave me a comment if you have anything that you want to see with this series, if there is anything that you want me to address with this series, and please journey with me. I am so excited. This particular series is it's very close to my heart, because I honestly never thought I'd live to tell the tale. I was done, you know, like I was finished. But it was at my very lowest, at my weakest, where God's hand reached out to me and he said to me that let's journey together, you know. And journeying with him has been beautiful. It hasn't been a bed of roses, no. Like, healing has not been linear at all. It hasn't been easy. But with every day, like, God, I feel God giving me more strength. And in the writing, guys, this is not looking for pity, no pity here. This is not for pity. This is not for you guys feeling sorry for me. Definitely not. We are good. I'm fine now. Like, I'm no longer the 16-year-old that wanted to take her life. Okay, I have healed. Although healing can never be like, sometimes you cry, but no, I don't cry. Like, it's fine. Like, we've moved on. God has helped us. But it's a lot, give it to Nana. So brace yourselves. I really hope that you will enjoy it as much as I will enjoy bringing it to you. Again, thank you so much. So much. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your love. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for liking the videos. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for telling your friends to tell their friends, and growing this amazing it's not an opportunity, this amazing channel. This amazing channel. I love you guys. And another thing that I enjoy doing is engaging with you in the comment section. You guys are so cute. You guys are so like Indianitanda, like you are in my heart. Thank you so much once more. See you on my next video, where we'll be tackling the first and the biggest thing I struggle with as a result of childhood trauma. Peace out.